Hi there, and welcome to yet another episode of Her Standards with me, Queen Tambori. As usual, extremely excited to be here today, and of course, extremely thankful for your company from wherever part of the world you're watching us from. One more time, thank you for the outpouring feedback that we're receiving from all parts of this country. What can we say? Thank you for watching, and thank you for keeping it tuned. One thing I like about this show, and I'll say it from time to time, is the fact that we are able to connect you with women that you need to know. Women you probably never heard about, you've never seen them, you've never had an impact of what they are doing. But of course, as a show, we feel that these women need to be in your radar. You need to know them. Today, we are hanging out with one such woman. As a matter of fact, we traveled all the way to Machakos County, to a very small world. We are with the GM, the General Manager of the small world. She is called Priscilla Mbugua, and we just want to interact with her and get to understand how she has managed to transform this place. Honestly speaking, you need to come to the small world because it is giving us that coastal vibe. It is beautiful, and I think this lady has done an amazing job. Without much ado, hit us up on social media to KTN Home, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm also available as Queen Tambori, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Alternatively, hit our Madam Producer, anaitwa Grace Waweru ama Gracie Wawesh mtandaoni. Talk to her. If you feel there's a woman we need to know about, a woman we need to profile, we need to tell her story, we need to impact other women and inspire them, tafadhali, do not hesitate. I think I just need to introduce my guest on that note. So Priscilla, karibu sana.
Jambo Quinta, I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Karibu to Small World. As the word states, small world, we are not small.
Why?
It's the fine details in every bit that makes us have a small world.
So it is.
So we have a world, we cannot acquire the big world, so we have created a world of our own, and that's why we are small world. We are not small in the size.
Wow.
We are small in fine details to create a world within Machakos and within Kenya.
I like it.
Yes.
I can't believe I'm in Machakos, by the way, my dear viewer, because it is green. You know, Machakos is known for ukame and lack of rainfall. Yeah. So how have you managed to create this space to make it look so beautiful?
Basically, in life, you must always understand what's your purpose. What do you want? Where are you? Are you happy? What's allowed you? And when you understand that, you'll basically work towards achieving that. And we know where we are. We're in Machakos. It's dry. Yes. And people make a fun of it. That, oh, you're in Machakos. How are you surviving the weather? We are surviving the weather because we have chosen to be in this place and make a difference out of what is thought that it can't be something too many. So, watering, contributing to the environment. If I contribute to the environment, you contribute to the environment, someone else contributes to the environment, any area thought to be Machakos will be the green part of the world, and more so Kenya where we are.
Well said. You know, it's not my first time to come to Small World. I was telling Priscilla here that I was a regular visitor until COVID happened. And to tell you the truth, the transformation here is amazing. But we'll talk about that. Baadaye kidogo, we still want to, as we want to get to know this amazing lady. So Priscilla, to some of our viewers, it's the first time they're meeting you.
Yes.
And I think in your own words, maybe you can just tell us kidogo about you, how long you've been in this industry, mahali ulisomea. You know, this is also an opportunity to shout out to watu wa nyumbani ambao wanakuona kwa TV.
Sure.
Yes, we want to know exactly how your journey has been in this hospitality industry.
Basically, maybe I can start off from my childhood.
Yes, please.
I was born and raised in Thika, and not Thika town. I'm from Muranga. Initially, we were in Kiambu, and now with the development and everything, we are basically in Muranga. So I was born, raised in a place called Gatanga, specifically Donyoshege. For those who have heard about Donyoshege, it's a common name. Or more so, let's talk of when the UAP marathon happened, when you hear of Dakaine, I'm within the vicinity of Dakaine Dam. So that's where I hail from.
Okay.
Raising, growing up, and even schooling, all through to the time I was in high school, that I joined the Kabare Girls High School, that is in Kirinyaga. I proceeded after my high school to Kenya Utalii College, and that's when I acquired my hospitality professional skill. And that relates to who I am at Small World and making the world a better place through the small world. So I basically finished Kenya Utalii College in 2011. And 2 weeks later from the time I finished the college, I got my first job as an acting GM of a hotel in Kalatina called County Inn.
That was your first job?
Yeah, that was my first job. Yes, I was an acting GM.
Wow.
Yes, of a small facility. It was a 30 rooms facility. And basically I can't call it small because it had all aspects, it had all the factors that makes it be called a hotel. So I have a very strong founding when it comes to Kalatina.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I was there for a very short span of time. And due to the drive I had to grow in the industry, an opportunity came calling, and actually two opportunities. I had one from Tanzania and another one from Burundi. It was so funny because I got interviews almost at the same time. And when the interviews came, not interviews, there were calls and email, and I could make reply. And for the Tanzania, the reply was quite faster than I was getting the reply when I made any response to the email from Burundi. And therefore, my instinct told me, lad him to Tanzania, and that's why I moved to Tanzania.
When?
That was back in January 2012. No, December 2011. Yeah, I moved shortly before, just a month after I had done the first job, and I was so eager to see myself grow into the industry. I had seen people grow in my own family tree. I had seen people in the hospitality industry grow, and I was eager to get to that level. And when the opportunity came calling, I was like, why not? So I went there as an operations manager. This is in Bukomba.
Bukoba.
Bukoba.
Oh, nice.
It's neighbors Uganda. And I remember my journey to get to to Bukomba. Yes, this is a place I don't know anybody. Even the people calling me, the people reaching me, I don't know them. They got my contacts or my referrals from the college, that is Kenya Utalii College. We started connecting. I was very fresh from the college. My being fresh from college didn't really deter me from pursuing the position. So I was so interested in pursuing it. So here I am, and I knew I needed to get the travel document to get through the border. And therefore, when I went to get my visa, I was informed I could only get my visa for after like 3 months. And there was an option of getting a temporary one, and I was like, I'll lose this opportunity. So I applied both. I did the
Burundi and
I applied for the visa, but I did the temporary and the one that was going to last me for the 10 years. So I followed the temporary so that I could get there. I was going to know how after the period expires, how am I going to stay? Yes. I was not scared by that. And actually, it was so funny because when I was doing all this, I was not involving any person of my family. I was just doing it alone.
How old were you? then we will not, I promise we will not calculate your age. There's a reason I'm asking you. There's a reason I'm asking you.
Fine, I was in my 24 by then.
You're 24. So all the 24-year-olds listening to the show, I hope mmepanua masikio ama mmefungua masikio. Carry on.
So I was 24 then, and all these I'm doing it on my own. I'm navigating to where the application I need to do and all that, documents, communication. And when I told my dad I'm traveling, he was hesitant. He was like, how did you get this opportunity? How did you connect with these people? You just graduated the other day. And this was just, I was supposed to travel, my graduation was like a week, and then I was supposed to travel the following week. And he was like, no, you're not supposed to travel. First of all, even how did you get the fare?
Trust
to travel.
Trust
how did you get the visa document and all this? I told him I worked it all aloud, and I didn't get the support of anybody. I did it all by my own. I didn't even have the godfather to get all these things that sometimes give you headache. So it was by God's favor that I was able to land onto that, and there I was. So I remember I boarded a vehicle to go to UG, and then I had to connect from UG to Tanzania, because that was the shortest route. Yes, I would never think of boarding an airplane. So here I am with my luggage. I've never been to...
Had you stepped out of the country then?
I had stepped out of the country. No, I had never stepped out of the country.
It was the first
time. It was the first time I was going to do this.
Wow.
So I was to go to UG. I don't know anybody at all. And I was again to connect from
Uganda to
Bukoba.
So that means you crossed the border twice.
I'm relying on information that I'm just being given, and nobody who is to guide me how to connect from this area to the other. So when we reached UG, it was around 3 p.m. in the day. I remember I left on a Sunday evening, and on Monday, that's when I got to UG at around 3 p.m. It was a bit late because the vehicle boarding that I was supposed to board to connect to Bukoba had already left. So I had to think what I was going to do so that I can have a sleepover in UG, Uganda, and then I traveled to Bukoba the following day. Good. I figured out, and I made my way through. I headed to Bukoba, towards Bukoba, but I knew I was to sleep at the border. And there I needed to safeguard what I had, because if I lost it, it meant that I was going to
lose everything.
Yeah, so basically I put my bag in my head, because I knew if anybody was going to snatch it, I would feel, and I would wake up and I would know how to lesson about it.
You used it as a pillow?
I just put it on my head, on my neck, and then I made sure the bag was underneath the pillow. So, you know, if somebody is trying to snatch, you'll definitely wake up and you know how to act about it, because I looked at the environment and the houses were not freezing at all, and I knew. Finally, I still had to sleep. All I remember is that I had a very long night because the mosquitoes really enjoyed my skin. It was quite an experience. It's something that will always ring in my head. And when you're chasing opportunity, it doesn't matter the road you have to travel through. The result is what will make you a different person altogether. So fine, there it was. I had not eaten the whole day. I've just been traveling. And I remember, I think I just took a small cake and a soda, because that's the best I could get at the border by the time I got to the border. And I slept, and the following morning I was supposed to catch a vehicle and connect to Bukoba. Lucky enough, it wasn't so far. It took me about 2 hours and I was in Bukoba. So I was a happy person. But in as much as we say that you never know what you're going for, what you think is a green pasture doesn't always sometimes end up being the green pasture. And I thought I was going to be there, yes. I was really pursuing this position, and I knew I was going to be there for a while, and it was going to make a difference. Unfortunately, when I landed there, that was in December, because I was there a bit of December and part of January, and in February I had to leave.
Why did you leave?
I left the place because at some point I got admitted. And basically in my home country I had never been admitted before, except when I was born. I had never had an admission. But I got an admission. I got very sick because I was having a migraine, which I could not tell. Not that I was having depression, not that I was having pressure. So I got a very, very bad migraine, and it was not ceasing at all. So after the hospital, I was dispatched. I was actually dispatched from the hospital, not because I got well, but because they felt like I needed to seek a further medication. So when I left the hospital, I figured out, what is it? Do I die in my own home country, or do I die in a foreign country? So I chose to die in my own country. Because I didn't want to give my parents headache, my relatives headache. I had already given them the headache of just making a committal to travel to a known land without worrying whatever was ahead of me. So this time loud I said, I never listened. So let me follow my instinct.
Be humble and go back home.
And
it's
I
the humble
up
part.
Coming back home. And when I landed back home, that was in February. I stayed February, March, April, and then by April I was already getting a contact by an entrepreneur based in Nyandarua, that is in Nyahururu. He was doing up a hotel. He was an entrepreneur on the basis of a hardware. He had been operating a hardware. He didn't have any knowledge in hotel, anything at all. And here he is, he got again my contact from Mutali, that he was looking for a potential manager, and he was given my contact as an ideal person to learn his facility. That meant I was going to open a hotel. I had never opened a hotel before, and I was going to learn this hotel. It was a 50 rooms hotel, a budget hotel also, because we were going with the rate. When I opened the facility, the rate were within 3,500 to 6,000.
Okay.
So it was a budget hotel. And I kicked on from April of 2012. And when we were doing the final touches of the building, did the paints, there was nothing. Actually, it was just a structure. There are no equipment or anything. That is the time then I got to learn. I'm yet to get to know what it is
to
be
run
a manager in a hotel.
Right.
I had to equip the hotel.
Yeah.
I had to bring everything in regard to human resource, how to plan the marketing.
Yeah.
And here I am with an entrepreneur who feels that bringing in team at early stages is a cost that is not going to yield. So all this was on my back, and I actually had to carry it. And I took it with a very positive heart because I knew I was going to learn through this.
Yeah.
So I knew industry area like the back of my hand through that experience. Because I had to visit all these big companies I just used to hear of. Kitchen care, Service Corp. There were quite a couple because I had to source for different items from different places, and it was quite an experience because up to now I know that if I have to learn a business, I know where to source.
You know everything.
And funny enough, along the field, I also managed to have my own restaurant at some point, but I closed just before the COVID and all that. Yeah, so basically there I was, and I opened the Laikipia Comfort Hotel. Initially, the owner called the facility 5-star, Laikipia 5-star Hotel. I had to make the owner change the name to Laikipia Comfort Hotel based on my knowledge from school, because what I understand is that or what I learned from school is that you can never use the star rating of the hotel to name the hotel, which again didn't imply that the 5-star is actually the facility he had. He didn't even have the 5-star, but I was going to, of course, not diminish myself and not bring the quality. I was out to bring the quality, but I brought to him the reality of why you can't have a hotel named 5-star, like keep your 5-star hotel, but you can have it with a different. So again, had to, and it was a process. Again, I had to interact with the lawyers and tell them I'd never interacted with the lawyers. They gave me an opportunity, another platform to a learning curve. And actually, that's what I was looking for when I was pursuing all these challenges that would grow me to what I am today. Yes. So finally, we opened the hotel. I opened the hotel in 2012 September, and it was quite a breathtaking experience, having to open a hotel, incorporating the county. We had just had the devolution taking shape and everything. So that was my good experience about the facility. Of course, it came with its own challenges, having to learn manpower, the human resource element, the marketing element, which I was not like learning it before, because like in Bukoba, I had a GM and then I was the operations. But now here I'm having to learn everything. Corner. And my first job didn't give me the bit of exposure that I would have gotten to learn now this new hotel. And which, when I found the consultants who are there, they went aside. They actually left the operation or the progress of pursuing the project, and I had to do it all on my own. So I sourced the new employee. I started off everything, and I launched the press, and there we are. And I operated the press as a consultant as well as the GM for a period of 1 year until I moved to the next job when an opportunity came calling.
Wow, we are hanging out with Priscilla Mbugua, young, brilliant woman, if you ask me. She's taken so many risks, including crossing over to our neighbors in Tanzania, to a town called Bukoba, all in the name of chasing her dreams in the hospitality industry. It's the first time actually we are hosting her on Her Standards. I'm very excited because I like introducing impactful women to you, my dear viewer, every other time. We would like to take a short break. We are available at KTN Home across all social media platforms. You can talk to me at Quintambori And then, of course, you can talk to our producer. She's called Grace Waweru. Priscilla, are you on social media?
Yes, I am.
As
Yeah, I refer myself by the name Witty Pressy. It's a name coined. It has a history to it. I coined it back when I was in college, and I have kept it strong to date.
Okay.
Yeah, on Instagram, Witty Pressy. On Facebook, Witty Pressy. Yeah.
There you had it. You can send your questions there, or you can actually send your questions directly to Witty Pressy. Pressy is
P-R-E-S-S-I-E.
P-R-E-S-S-I-E. If you are a young lady thinking about joining the hospitality industry, or you're already in it and you are learning the ropes, remember, this is the show for you. Get down to our social media platforms and let us talk. We would like to hear your opinion. What has been your experience so far in this industry? What has been your challenges? What have been your highlights? Remember, this is the show where we bring you inspiration week in, week out. See you in a few minutes. Karibu sana to the second part of Her Standards with me, Queen Tambori. As usual, ever excited to be part and parcel of this show that offers a dose of inspiration to you, my dear viewer, watching us from every part of the world. Today, we are in a very small world, but a very beautiful world that is being run by an amazing lady. She is the general manager of a Small World, which is a restaurant.
It's a hotel.
It's a hotel?
Yeah.
A 5-star hotel?
We are not rated.
Not yet rated.
We have a rating of our own.
Which is, what is your rating?
Yeah, we are a boutique facility.
A boutique facility.
Yes, of course, we would have to identify what we are. We are a boutique facility. The hotel has 42 rooms.
Okay.
With a couple of facilities. Beyond the accommodation, we do the meals in our restaurant. We have the swimming pool for recreation. We have the children's corner, and we have an inspiration element whereby we do the farm to table concept, which makes you feel to relate to what you plow with your hands and you get it into the plate, and that's what every other human being should be chasing. Good stuff. Yeah.
I've eaten the mbuzi here. This is not fake news, it's delicious. Make time, come and create your own space in this small, beautiful, big world in Machakos County. So Priscilla, how long have you been here?
My stay here dates back from 2019. I stepped here in 2019 September and launched the place again in November to its new phase. Small World has been in existence for quite ages. With the current owner, it's since 1982 when the premises was at the point of closure, and they took it over from the previous owner, and nothing much was done to the current state until 2016, and that's when they incorporated the renovations, increased the number of accommodation space that was there to what we have now. Having White House in Kenya is an addition for the small world.
Yes.
Yeah, you need to explore and experience. Yes, the White House in Kenya. Yeah, so this is one of our significant value add or improvement to the property. And Small World, to many who have used Mombasa Road, they know it's quite a landmark. You ask anybody going through Mombasa, either to Mombasa or from Mombasa, where Small World is, it's quite a renowned area. And we welcome you. Yes, come, experience, explore. Yes, and get inspired with what we have. And we are so much into environment. That's why we talked of having the green in Machakos. Yes, that's what we want to keep.
I think you'll probably take us to your green village at some point. I think people need to, for viewers, if they don't see it, they don't believe it. If you didn't see it on Her Standards, it didn't happen. Two things you mentioned previously in the first part of this interview. You said twice
Yes.
your university actually gave a recommendation
Yes.
for employers to hire you.
Yes.
Why is that? What impact did you make in the university? And I'm asking you this because part of the people who watch this show are
Yeah.
actually the youth,
Yes.
university graduates, college goers. So I think that point really needs to come out. How did you manage to stand out?
Good. I think I take it back again a little to my childhood. I grew in a humble background. And my humble background, I can say maybe my mom being a housewife, my dad was in the transport industry, and him being in Italy, not direct to the hospitality because he was on the transport sector side. I was able to get also my way through for the hospitality profession. I actually know that I didn't, my qualification from high school, I was not supposed to be doing hospitality. I was supposed to be joining JQuat and pursuing IT. But before my papers for the university came, I had already joined Italy with one semester. And when the papers came, my dad was always one person who will ask you, do you want to pursue what you worked for, or do you want to pursue what I have also given you as an alternative? And I was like, fine, I've been in Italy for one semester, and I think I'm good to go. I didn't make any defer for the university, and I proceeded on with the Italy.
Any regrets?
No, I don't regret. Yeah, I don't regret so far, because if I make it a regret for the years I was in Italy for 4 years, then I think I will really get myself backward, and I may never catch up even with the new levels that I may pursue, because we always say that irrespective of the industry you are in, your tomorrow is defined by where you began. So that gave me a humble beginning, and I can say from the home background I grew in, we grow tea, we grow tea, we grow coffee, mostly tea, and also farming of maize, beans, and all that. And I was so much involved into this, having grown from a humble background. So over the weekend, when you're not in school, because I schooled in a day school, you'd find yourself, you have to carry that kikapu of majani chai, and our home area, Muranga, it's very hilly, or rather, it's very slopey. So you are with the basket, the tea picking basket on your back, and if you mistakenly just mess around or become unstable, the bag will fall, it will roll, and you'll have to collect piece by piece and put it back to the basket. So that was a hard experience. I also know that for you to do the transplant of the tea plants, we used to go fetching them from the overgrown farms so that you do that. That was quite tedious. So you have to go beneath the tea plantation, you hang through, you claw through underneath, and you pull out the seedlings so that they can be transplanted. So I experienced all this, and I was always asking myself, is this what I want? And I had an auntie who had also done hospitality, and I always envied when she came home looking good, when how she could speak. She managed to also fly out of the country. She's late, but I learned somehow. I was still young, but I could relate. But I'm talking of at the age of 3 years, 4 years, you are plucking tea leaves. So do you want to push this anymore? I think I was with this mindset that I know what I'm doing. I can do something that doesn't have to get me to this kind of an environment in future. So this kept me with this hard skin of pushing and pushing. And then growing with boys is something that makes you understand when you're in such an environment that you as a girl, you'll end up doing much of the job. And you will do not only what they're doing, they will also do more than they are doing, because you'll be in the farm with them, you'll fetch napier grass for the cows with them. But when it comes to the kitchen work, you'll still be in the kitchen but alone. When it comes to the house cleaning, you'll be doing the house, but then they are free, they are playing their ball and all that. And when we talk of the women, the gender parity and all that, the women comes in and you think of it and you see the reality. You actually recall what happened in your past and you say, yes, I understand what we mean by breaking gender bias when it comes to any industry or even from the home setting. That's where we need to break it and make the woman stand out, that you equalize even to the level. So this kept me pushing, and when this opportunity for Utali came, it was like, this is my chance. what I have seen with my aunt is what I want. So I work smart. I didn't work hard, I worked smart.
You worked smart.
I was not the topping student, but in the final year, when we did the internship, I was the best outstanding student when it came to the training. I actually got the trophy from the Selena. It was awarded by the Selena hotel, the Selena group of hotels. They are the one who awarded, and I got that. I also got, I think my first good money was a voucher that I got during the graduation, and that voucher kept me going and doing some of the mileages where I had family cancers. I was getting the money to travel here and there. And during my years in school also, like you'd get like the lecturers getting a preference. You are setting up the computers for them because you look like a person who understands the sense of direction. I can also recall that in Italy there is a project we used to do. It's called the food fair. It's still done up to date, and I was the vice chair lady. So that was also a leadership element that I got from that. And back from primary school, I've always been a leader. I've been a leader from primary as a class rep, as a head girl. So I went to high school again. I used to be hostel captain and assistant hostel captain, hostel captain. When it comes to the games, I was also taking part in that and getting quite a couple of rewards from the engagement from classwork and also the co-curricular activity. So this kept me going, and I didn't hide it. I knew it is in me. It's the drive in me. So when it came to Italy, and this recognition also from the lecturer, it's not because I chose for this favor in a different way. It's because of what I was doing.
You were doing.
That it was visible to others, and that's why when they made the recommendation, they knew they were not doing the long judgment. Yeah, that's the favor I had. Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't help but notice that around here, the young women, you know, the stewards and the hostesses, and when you look at your industry, the hospitality industry, in terms of the employment, there's almost gender parity. I think it's about 55% and 55% women and 50% men. But in terms of people who can actually rise through the ranks like you, the number, you know, it keeps dwindling.
Reducing, actually going down. The women, but the
men keep rising, and you know that is like a replica of what happens in most industries. But what do you think is like the main hindrance? What keeps these women from rising up the ranks? Because wanafika tu mahali and then they disappear. What do you think happens?
One, I can say we need to prove ourselves. Actually, proving ourselves is by saying I'm capable, I can do this. And for me to get recognized even by my lecturers in Italy, to get referrals that Priscilla, there's a job calling here, try it out and all that, it's because I proved myself. So it has to first start with you and prove to the world that yes, this is it, I can do it. And when you get that level of assurance from within, then the world or the people you're dealing with are able to embrace that, and they're able to grow you. But don't get the position and then sit on a comfort zone. That is now the biggest challenge. We have people who are getting the positions, but they are not able to maintain the position. And this is a challenge to most women. You interview them, you bring them on board, they are doing well for the first stages of their employment, but over time, their growth in terms of skills development, it's not seen. And this is what is now lowering the number of women who are getting into the industry. And when it becomes a discouragement to people who had quite a trust in maybe engaging women, and they have gotten 1, 2, 3 disappointment, then they turn their eyes to the men. And what happens with men, their commitment can be there, they have no other duties. With a woman, you get a job today, you are a single woman, you will be committed, you start getting boyfriend there, and things start turning around you, your improvement levels goes getting down and down. And what happens? You're overtaken by the event. The man will only marry. After that, he'll not take care of the baby in the house, or he will play as, yes, we are not saying they will not take care, but the bigger task is to the woman who is married and who is expected also to be doing some job at work. And the expectation of women in employment is higher than men. Guys, that is what we must understand. That women are believed are capable of doing more than men, even when their commitments are so tight. So with the demands from the office, which are higher than your male counterpart, and with the demands you have in the house, you find that you don't want to neglect your family. You still want to carry through, and the love we have for our family, the children, our parents, our siblings, and all that. So you find one end, you cannot match the two. One end tends to be glowing, and the other end, or rather, you tend to bring the family down, and by the time you realize it's because of work, you start now neglecting the work, and you keep give an interest into the family, and that's how we are. But the man will keep on he'll get a good meal, he'll start growing muscles, he'll be recognized because of gaining the muscles. But who cooked for this man? It's the woman. Yes, it's the woman who cooked for this man. And now the guys are saying, oh, it's good to have a home. Yes, I'm after your foot. So another gentleman behind him is quick to seek another woman to marry so that he can also get that level. And you know, with the muscles, that's what is recognized for men. That when they have the muscles, when they are feeling, when they start, when their vocals are heard, people will already comply. That's what happens to the woman. You woke up at 4 in the morning. The office doesn't care. If you need to be there, if you're an F&B manager, you need to be there by 6. It doesn't matter whether your baby slept crying because they had no this or that. As long as you didn't report on time, you have to be in that job. And you have to work around how you'll have to have. So you'll be taking in small bits of your time to try check on your baby. But your boss is also watching you because they have not been seeing you. And most likely it is thought that you are having other interests elsewhere. And when opportunity comes for growth, who will be recognized? It is your male counterpart.
Definitely the male counterparts. But now talking of creating an enabling environment, Priscilla, this one we are now addressing the industry, not small world. What do you think employers need to do in order to at least cushion the women so that with that life work integration doesn't really mess up with either side of the spectrum? On one hand we have work, on the other hand we have family. How do you ensure that at least there's a bit of integration? What do you think? How can we make it a little bit more favorable?
Employers need to understand this. There is no industry that will live without the men and the women. You'll need the two. Because there are some tasks that will be good for the men, there are some tasks that will be good for the women. But remember, the bottom line is this. All these tasks can be done by the agenda.
True.
It is how we equip the people. Let's not talk of late night jobs being only ideal for men, and therefore women will end up not having jobs because the available jobs are only for male, and the males are probably not there. They can do. Think of working with time schedules. If I can do the day shift, another one can do a night shift. A lady did a day shift, another one did a night shift, and tomorrow you will interchange. So the time schedules, if they are factored in, they will favor all the genders, because we need to realize that there are so many youths outside there. They are seeking jobs, but how do they get this opportunity? How do we keep the hotel industry or the tourism sector blossoming? Many people have a different view of the industry, especially now with the COVID-19 effect. Most people are like looking at hotel industry and they are like, no, that's not the industry to pursue. I still encourage our youth, I still encourage the mothers, the parents outside there. Let's embrace any industry. Hotel industry is like any other industry. Talk of hospitals, they are still in the line of hospitality. So even if they are doing the medicine, they'll also have to do the late jobs and all that. Even if they are doing the other side of the farming and everything, most vegetables, they are done the transportation in the night when the weather is quite ideal. So basically, let's embrace every industry. But as we factor, for people to be factored, we have talked of time schedules. We have talked of also looking at your working environment. Not every hotel compares to the other. you know your busy schedules. Maybe your hotel is busy over the weekday, then balance out schedules so that people can also have time with their families during the weekday, and on the weekend when they are busy, they can be available at work without excuses, because that's what happens. Also, you find like most family gatherings will happen over the weekend when most people are available. If there can be a balance whereby you have a rotating team, that if I was working this weekend, next weekend another person works, so that I'm also able to be part with my family. That gives you an opportunity. And this affects even the media industry. You're also affected because you have to be working on the weekend. We cannot have the media over the weekday, and on the weekend we are not working. We need the media. When you are waking up, the first thing you tune on is your radio or your TV as you get to prepare yourself to work.
Actually,
but who has to be there? So thinking of it, can we not rule people's mind out of the hotel industry because of the COVID-19 or anything else that they plan that might happen in future and affect their career? What I can tell people, there is no industry that will ever open you up than the hotel industry. It has the diversity. One, you travel. You work in different localities depending on where you get your job opportunity. You meet people of different background, different culture, way of doing various beliefs and all that. And this keeps grooming you as long as you keep an open mind. And this can scale you to be a future leader in a different aspect. You don't have to also stick there. It is an opening path for you to be vocal, for you to express yourself. It's an industry that is holistic in its own way, and that's what people need to seek.
Like that. You know, you mentioned something about media and the hospitality industry having one thing in common. You know, during public holidays, everyone is celebrating about going on long holidays. But that is when that is your busiest time.
Busiest time. Indeed.
Over Christmas, that is your busiest time. So anyway, I have two questions for you. If time allows, then we wind up. There was a recent incident. Actually, it caught the attention of the world. It happened, must have been in Zanzibar, where there were allegations of sexual harassment in a hotel. To what extent would you say that exists? And then we are still addressing the industry. We are not talking to small world. To what extent does sexual harassment exist in the hospitality industry? And what do you think we can do to lower it?
Sexual harassment is there in every industry. Let me first of all say that. It's there. The perception is that when there is recreation, that tends to have a higher incline to the levels or to the degree to what sexual harassment is seen. And therefore, with hotel industry, we talk of people getting time to have a self-time, recreation and all that. And that's why there is that tendency of people thinking that the sexual harassment in the hotel industry is too much. But basically, the degree of the harassment in the industry, it's not extreme as that. It's all based on the people. It's all based on you as an individual, because you can invite it and you can oppose it. It's all how you go about it. Talk of, I'm cleaning a room, the guest is in the room, the guest says I want to continue doing my job in the room, and you can continue to tidy up the room. How you will behave in that room.
Is that allowed?
It can happen because it depends with the client. We say in the hotel industry, we say the guest is always like, I'm doing my job. I've called out for my room to be cleaned, and I'm doing job and I cannot leave because I need to attend to whatever I'm doing, and I need the room cleaned, and there's a reason why I travel. So what are the parameters? What are the techniques that the people or the cleaners, the stewards in the hotel have been taught? When you're cleaning a room that is occupied, we call it occupied dirty. How do you go about it? It's the coaching. How do you protect yourself? It's a tricky situation, but how do you go about it? Do you have the bits, the techniques of how to handle the client, the inquiries? You can even know when the client is actually pulling you to the extent of inviting you for what you don't want or what is not expected of you. Again, you're a professional. So what are the boundaries? When can you say it's no? When can you just evict the room? How easy is it for you to evict the room? Those are some of the parameters. Talk of employee versus employee. Sexual harassment is everywhere because we always say there is in and out in employment. Today we are employing, tomorrow another one is going and another one has to come. But as we employ, as we engage, people are always viewing, oh, there's a new chick in the house and she's looking hot. But you must kill off that notion. How do you kill that notion? You must execute yourself in the right manner and what you sought for. When you sought for the position, you sought for the job, you didn't seek for anything that will bring other elements of people thinking that you are here to seek favors and all that. Why do we want favors? Women, I think it's a high time we start tall with our shoulders high and say, enough is enough. I'm getting this job because I'm qualified for the position and not because of your demands that will make me acquire the job. So it's a high time that this is killed, and it is only killed by you when you're getting into the industry or by you expressing to the people you meet in the industry that you are actually here for the job, you're not here for the favors. That is what will differentiate us. Because when it comes to working, you are not working as a woman alone, you're working amidst men. When you're serving clients, you're not serving female alone, you're serving men, you're serving families. These families, irrespective of how they are seated, there is somebody who is viewing you in a different angle. But how are you executing yourself as you do the delivery of your service? Professionalism is what needs to keep us going. But it's up to the stakeholders, the training institution, to keep on doing the refresher courses of how to go about this. Utali is always doing the refresher courses. Like now, even there are refresher courses going on at Utali, and they are all about the skills, executing ourselves in the industry, and killing off this tendency of people thinking the industry is hostile for things like the sexual harassment. And maybe the timing also doesn't favor you. You'll actually maybe be leaving the job very late, and you'll be accosted by people who are just interested in just getting you into the long end of life, and therefore you feel this is not the right industry for you. Again, I remind people, this industry is a good industry, but only with a positive mind. You have to get into the industry knowing what it entails. And it is every other job. What does it take me to be a hotelier? What does it take me to be a media personality? When you understand the aspect or the element of what is required of you, you'll fit into that position. But guilt will be with you if you don't understand what is required within you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that has been Priscilla Mbugua, who is the general manager at Small World. We have had our own Small World today on her standards, having discussions on issues that actually are happening in the hospitality industry, and of course also connecting her to you. She's, I believe, one of the women, young women, you need to know, one of the few role models we have for you, young and old women alike out there, particularly the ones who are interested in pursuing, a career or a profession in the hospitality industry. This has been Her Standards. I have been your host, Queen Tambori. As usual, from the bottom of my heart, I just want to thank you for staying with us from the start until the end. Well, till next time, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, you have any feedback for us, remember we are always available on social media platforms for KTN Home, for Queen Tambori, or you can also talk to Witty Pressy on social media if you have those specific questions that you like to ask her. Well, till next time, see you next week, same time. Bye for now.